So chapter 5 is all about writing equations of lines. You're going to learn lots of different ways, a lot of which you might have already learned in middle school. But today specifically, we're going to talk about how to write equations of lines given a slope and a y-intercept and a point and a y-intercept. The first is a little bit easy. It's something you've kind of seen before, and the second one might be a little bit harder. It might take you a little longer to remember. So if we go to this second slide, it says what you already know. If I give you this equation, you should be able to tell me the slope is 6, the y-intercept is 8. That's old information. Same thing here. If I give you this equation, you should be able to tell me my slope is -1/3, my y-intercept is +1. So hopefully that's nothing new. What we're going to do is now flip the roles. We're going to write the equation if we're given the slope and the y-intercept. Keeping in mind we're still using y equals mx plus b. That's what we always want our equations to be written in. That's the form that we want to use. So if I'm going to fill everything in, I know my slope is my m, my y-intercept is my b. So the way I would write this is y equals 5x plus 3. I know my slope is my m, again, -2. 4 is my b. So it's y equals -2x plus 4. So hopefully that's pretty simple for you. The next part, we're going to write the equation of the line shown. And this too isn't too complex. You're getting everything from the graph. So you need to figure out what is my slope, what is my y-intercept. Keeping in mind we still want to write our equation in y equals mx plus b. You can always start with y equals. So the easiest thing to find is my y-intercept. That's right here. And that's -1. Now to find my slope, remember it's rise over run. So if you have a hard time remembering that, you can write that note down. I need to see how do I get from this point to this point. It looks like I go up 4 over 1. So +4, +1. If you want to, you can write that as 4. Now all I have left to do is write my equation. So it would be y equals 4x minus 1. The second example to look at, again, let's find our y-intercept. It actually happens to be the same as the last one. So that's easy. And now if we have a negative line, we should end up with a negative slope. So when I go from this point to this point, I go down 1 over 2. So down 1 gives me a -1. Over 2 gives me a +2. So my slope is -1/2. So when I write my equation, I can write y equals -1/2. Notice that negative can just go out in front, or you can keep it on the top. X minus 1. The biggest thing people forget is that x, so make sure you don't forget to include that x in your answer. All right, now I'd like you to try these two on your own. So it's the same exact type of problem. So go ahead and pause the video and try those two. And then when you turn it back on, I'll tell you what the answer is. So looking at this first one, my y-intercept is +1 this time. My slope is down 3 over 1, so it's -3 over 1. So my equation is y equals -3x plus 1. If you want to put 3 over 1, you can. Usually we just use that whole number version there. Looking at the second one, my y-intercept is +1. My slope is up 1 over 1. So that's 1 over 1, which is just 1. So my equation here is y equals 1x plus 1. Or you could just have y equals x plus 1. It's the same thing. What I would like you to do right now is I want you to go to your 5.1 worksheet and do numbers 1 to 9. So numbers 1 to 9 is going to review writing the equation when you're given the slope and the y-intercept and writing the equation from the graph. Once you've done that, you can come back, finish the notes, and then you'll get some more practice. Hopefully you shouldn't have homework if you're focused on getting everything done in class today.